Today we shall continue with our theme of strategies of evangelization from the Acts of the Apostles, where again we encounter another clever tactic employed by St. Paul to find an opening where he can proclaim the gospel. We find that today he makes friends with the two Jews who had returned from Italy, and he reaches out to them through the fact that he shares a trade with the fellow. See, he used something that he shared in common to find a way in which they could have something in common to work on before he introduced the gospel to them. We should not underestimate our places of work, our professions, our volunteers, whatever we do, where we put ourselves in contact with other people on not a religious basis, as a perfect opening and opportunity to eventually share faith with others. We live in a time when it is expected that you check your faith at your house door or at the door of your church, and you don't talk about it, you don't act about it, you don't do anything to do with it outside of the privacy of your home. We are not to live by that standard. There is nothing wrong with practicing our faith openly and bringing our faith into the public square. And we do this best when we are interacting with people on a very natural level. Today, we see from St. Paul this lesson of what we could call the virtue of naturalness, making it very easy to get along with people because we demonstrate to them that we share other things in common than simply having now an opportunity to talk about my religion to you. We are not salespeople in that regard, where we are merely looking for an opportunity to make a sales pitch. But we are a kind of salesperson, where in the back of our mind, we always want and hope to find an opportunity where we will be able to sell our faith, to share with others what we have come to encounter as the deepest source of our hope and our joy. Wouldn't we want to in any other way? If we enjoyed a movie that we saw, we want to tell people to see the movie. When we liked a book, we pass it on to someone. We do this in many ways already. Therefore, why would we not do it with our faith? The fact of the matter is that we can only do it effectively when we have built an underlying foundation. And our work, our common hobbies, our common pursuits, these become ideal places where our faith can be shared. Consider that wherever you may volunteer, or wherever you may work, or wherever you find yourself in contact with other people, perhaps with organizations through your children's schools or what have you, will the people that you know and work with be surprised to discover that you are a practicing Catholic? Would they be surprised to know that you go to Mass every morning? Perhaps they'd be surprised, but would they be scandalized? Would they be shocked? You, a Catholic? If that's the case, then we have been living some kind of dichotomy, where we do keep our faith over here, and then we live our real selves over there. The person over here is supposed to be the real self. It should not shock people to discover that we are people of faith when we are out in public spheres. It should actually make sense to them. Ah, I see. I knew there was something different about you. But we have started with something that we share in common. St. Paul used this with great effectiveness. We hear about Priscilla and Aquila later in the Acts of the Apostles, themselves doing tremendous work of evangelization. And so today, let us ask the Lord to strengthen our resolve to look for those occasions and opportunities where, having built a common foundation with others, we now have a natural opening where we too can share our faith.